Hi, everybody. Old Guide here, and this is the first Joe Abercrombie novel that I have read. I don't really know why, because the man's reputation precedes. Supposedly, the blade itself is extraordinary, but I've just simply not run across it. So many books, so little time. I did run across this one, though, and it ain't bad. This guy Abercrombie might know a thing or two. So what's this book about? Well, it's a found prince story in that the protagonist, Yarvi, already knows he's a prince. Indeed, he becomes king pretty early on when his father and older brother are ambushed by a neighboring barbarian. But that's not the wonderful promotion that Yarvi thinks it is. See, Yarvi is born with a deformed hand that makes it impossible for him to handle a sword and shield, and the people expect a warrior king like his father and uncle. So the populace looks askance upon his kingship, as does Yarvi himself, who only wants to be a member of the ministry, which is a quasi-mystical cult that studies science or magic or whatever and serves as advisors to the king's court in all things diplomatic. And Yarvi's built more for that. But greatness is thrust upon him, and what does a king do but avenge the murder of the predecessor? So Yarvi marches off with his army, the army of Getland, to do just that, until he discovers that his father's murder wasn't what he thought it was, and ends up getting tossed off of a tower into the sea. Treachery, I say, treachery. Yarvi ends up a galley slave chained to an oar with a delightful cast of characters, including the mysterious Nothing. Yep, that's his name. Who has earned the opprobrium of the ship's captain, the swashbuckling Shadik Saram, which I guess that's how you say her name, a woman pirate and fleet commander who is drunk all the time and just hilarious. Why she has taken such a dislike to Nothing, well, comes out later, but it's justified. And she makes Nothing scrub the deck 24 hours a day. Now, you'd think a half-handed slave wouldn't be the best choice for the oars, but Shadik Sharam is a bit short-handed and has to use what she's got. A galley slave with half a hand shouldn't really do that well in this environment, but Yarvi actually thrives, grows stronger, and far more ruthless, and decides he's going to take his kingdom back, which isn't much of a prospect under the current situation. But as you figure, circumstances change, and Yarvi and his motley group of galley pals find themselves free and up for the challenge. You can guess what happens. I mean, after all, this is a YA novel, and there's a certain expectation of how things turn out, and that's what happens here. But it's done in such an entertaining way that you don't mind the obvious direction that everything is going. There's even a few twists and turns that keep you guessing, and some excellent characters, such as the female warrior Sumil, to whom Yarvi is always on the brink of pitching woo. And it is the first of a trilogy, and I like trilogies, so okay. Not really a fantasy either. One strongly suspects that this Scandinavian-based world is actually the result of nuclear holocaust. Nothing is explicitly stated, at least not in this novel, but there are clues like the elf ruins on the hills that look suspiciously like cities of today, and elf metal, which is obviously steel. So not a bad introduction to the man. I can see how his adult fantasies are probably as good as everyone says. We'll see.